There is a certain kind of person that life simply cannot seem to break. You have met them. The storm hits, everyone else panics, and they stay calm, steady, almost unmoved. It is not that they feel nothing, it is that they have learned something the rest of the world never bothered to. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a small group of men discovered a set of rules for the mind that made them almost impossible to defeat. One was an emperor who ruled through plague and endless war. One was born a slave. One was exiled and later ordered to take his own life. And through all of it, they remained unshaken, not because life was kind to them, but because they had mastered themselves. Tonight, I am going to give you 6 of their rules, the same rules that can make you unbreakable. And the 6th one especially, the one I have saved for the very end, is the foundation the other 5 stand upon. Master it, and there is very little left in this world that can truly harm you. So sit with me, and let us begin. The philosophy is called Stoicism, and it has been quietly forging strong men and women for over 2,000 years. Its promise is simple. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you meet it. The world will take things from you. People will disappoint you. Plans will collapse. But the Stoic learns to build his peace somewhere the world can never reach it. This is not about becoming cold or feeling nothing. It is about becoming steady while everything around you is shaking. The strong are not a different breed of human. They simply practice a different set of rules, and tonight those rules become yours. Here are the 6 rules that make a person unbreakable. The first rule is the one everything else is built upon. Learn the difference between what you control and what you do not. Epictetus, who was born a slave, taught that some things are within our power and some things are not. Within your power are your thoughts, your choices, your effort, and your response. Outside your power is nearly everything else. Other people, the past, the outcome, what has already happened, and what others decide to do. Almost all human suffering comes from one single mistake, trying to control what we cannot and neglecting what we can. You cannot control whether the storm comes. You can only control whether you stand or fall inside it. So stop pouring your energy into what was never yours to hold. Pour it into the one thing that is, yourself. Master this first rule, and the second one becomes possible. The second rule: the obstacle is not in your way. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Ordinary people see a wall and stop. The Stoic sees a wall and asks what it has come to teach him. Every hardship carries a hidden lesson, a hidden strength, a hidden door. The same fire that melts the weak is the fire that forges the strong. The failure that humbled you was training. The betrayal that wounded you was wisdom. The loss that emptied you made room. You do not get to choose whether life sends you obstacles. You only get to choose whether they break you or build you. So turn toward the very thing you have been running from. That is exactly where your strength is hiding. The third rule is a phrase the Stoics lived by: Amor, Fati. It means to love your fate. Not merely to accept what happens to you, but to embrace it as if you had chosen it yourself. Most people waste their whole lives at war with reality, wishing this moment were different than it is. But the moment is already here. Fighting it only adds suffering to something you cannot change. Whatever this season is taking from you, meet it and say, "This too is part of my story, and I will use it." The Stoic does not just survive his fate. He works with it like a sailor using a wind he did not choose. When you finally stop resisting your life, you gain the strength to actually shape it. If these rules are landing on you tonight, subscribe so this wisdom can keep finding its way back to you. And comment the word unbreakable as a promise to yourself of the person you are becoming. The fourth rule sounds dark, but it is the secret to living fully. Memento Mori, remember that you will die. The Stoics kept this thought close, not to frighten themselves, but to wake themselves up. You will not be here forever, neither will the people you love. This day will not come again. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that he could leave life at any moment, and he let that shape everything he did. When you truly grasp that your time is limited, the small things that once controlled you lose their grip. The petty argument, the old grudge, the fear of looking foolish, none of it survives the thought of death. Do not use this to grow morbid. Use it to grow urgent, to forgive faster, love harder, and waste far less. A person who has made peace with death has very little left in this world to be afraid of. The fifth rule: never hand the keys to your peace to other people. So much of your stress comes from a single source: what other people might think of you. But the opinions of others are not within your control, and the Stoics were clear. What is not in your control should never rule you. Marcus Aurelius asked, "Why should the whispers of people who do not even understand themselves disturb your peace?" You could be the finest thing in the world, and someone would still find fault. You will never please them all, so stop trying. Live by your own standard, your own conscience, your own code, and let the crowd say whatever it will. The approval of others is a prison with an open door. The Stoic simply stands up and walks out. When you no longer need their applause, you can no longer be controlled by their judgment. Now understand this clearly, because it is so often misunderstood. Being unbreakable does not mean becoming cold or numb or pretending that you do not feel. The Stoics felt grief and fear and love as deeply as anyone who has ever lived. The difference is that they did not let those feelings command them. They felt the wave, and they still held the wheel. Strength is not the absence of emotion, it is the mastery of it. And that brings us to the sixth rule, the one I saved for last, the foundation beneath all the others. Marcus Aurelius wrote it plainly: you have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find your strength. Everything can be taken from you: your possessions, your comfort, your reputation, even your freedom. But no one can enter your mind and force you to be defeated there. That fortress is yours, and yours alone. It is not what happens to you that breaks you. It is the judgment that you attach to what happens. Two people can face the exact same loss. One is destroyed by it, and the other is deepened by it. The event was identical. The mind was not. The Stoic guards his mind the way a soldier guards a gate, because he knows that is where every battle is truly won or lost. Build your peace on the inside, on ground the world cannot touch, and there is nothing left outside of you that can conquer you. That is what it means to be unbreakable. Not that you are never struck, but that you can never be shattered. The fortress was always yours. You have simply forgotten how to live inside it. And every time the world strikes at you and finds you still standing, the walls of that fortress only grow stronger. 6 rules: control what is yours and release what is not. Let the obstacle become the way. Love your fate. Remember that you will die. Refuse to be ruled by the opinions of others. And guard your mind, for it is the only fortress you truly own. You were not made to be fragile. Fragility is only a habit, and every habit can be unlearned. The unbreakable were once the most broken of all. They simply refused to stay that way. Start with one rule. Live it tomorrow, then the next, and the next, until steadiness becomes simply who you are. The strongest people you have ever admired were not born unbreakable. They were forged, one hard day at a time, exactly like the one you are in right now. Before you go, if this gave you strength, subscribe, tap the like button, and comment the word unbreakable. and send it to one person who is carrying something heavy right now. These may be the words they need to hold the line tonight. Stand tall, guard your mind, and let the world do what it will. You are becoming someone it can no longer break.